if I can, I'll start with my feelings. Coming out of the Rosh Hashanah and the whole Chagim period, we're in like a space of, especially in Chutz La'aretz, where every other day is a Sunday or a Friday, we're in really a space of like, we're living in, a la la land, right? We have holidays, and then we have a break. You can't really start any projects. What should you do? It's a very, like, in its own way, it's a cocoon. But at the same time now, where we start with Parshat Noach, we have to go out and do the rest of the year now. This is when it all kicks off. So sort of struggling with this, and in my struggle, what did I do? I turned to the side of the art scroll to help give me some understanding of what goes on, and I found a few themes that personally really resonated. So first things first, what is the Torah starts off, and it says, what is the state of the world? It is a state of the world that is full of Hamas. And, this is topical, but what was interesting is that for those of you doing Shnai Mikra, Onkelos actually translates it as Chatufin. The way that he brings it down is a description of that these are takers, these are kidnappers. The different ways of understanding exactly how that plays out with the broader context, but basically this was a time in the world where people were just taking for themselves. They were grabbing. It was very other, lecherous sins and stuff like that. And what happens? What's the antidote to all of this? We have our one savior of the parsha, person I, in some ways, I guess, kind of feel like I can relate to. We have Noach, Ish Tzadik Tamim, that this person that we have that is in some way he's pure, in some way he's a tzaddik. There's the big discussion. It was just in his generation. Would he have been better in others? Would he have not have been? We'll leave that one. Somebody else will tell you about that. But what related to me a lot about Noach is, in a way, the world is a crazy place. There's all this chaos going on around him. And what's the path that he ends up going on? He becomes avoidant. He runs away. He goes to his ark. What else does he do? He finds himself connecting with nature. So he's the one that can bring all the animals 2 by 2 together with him to this ark. And this is part of this character Noach that kind of I related to in all of this chaos. Like it's when it's the going gets a little tough. Sometimes you go away. So then I was trying to figure out what in Noach would actually be maybe the other side of things. What's the things that I'm missing? The other side of the strengths. And I think it's really this notion of the two sides of things that this parsha really brings to light: balance, extremes, how they come together. So we said Hamas is the chaos of the world, though what's going on is grabbing. What does Noach represent? As part of this tzaddik and tamim character, Noach brings together chesed in the most high way possible. He spends 120 years. This is probably the most patient, capital investment project you can ever think of, building an ark, right? And if you think about it, even more so, he's in a context where an entire world is looking at him like he's crazy. And he has to build it in front of them so that people can comment. This is the first performative act of influencers in the world. Noach is saying, hey, look, come check out what I'm doing. Every time somebody shows up, they say, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm building it. No, that's ridiculous. And he keeps going for 120 years. So we have this sort of amazing character who's really doing a kindness to the rest of the world. Then, fine, so he builds the ark. There's an interesting story about how the boat is actually made in the perfect dimensions of what boats are now made in. So the standard for boats is 6 by 2 by 1, or height, length, and width. And these are considered dimensions for a boat nowadays. This is just a side piece. What's interesting about this, and maybe, I don't know, this is a half-baked thought, but the word teva obviously translates to ark, but a lot of the Hasidic and Kabbalistic masters also translate it as words. So what's the answer for when the chaos is going on in the world? We have a deluge of a downpour. We start to bring in words. And so the teva helps give us protection from all of that chaos. We start to use our words. So we're going back to this concept of chesed. Noach really does this thankless job, right? No one gives him any gratitude for 120 years. He gets into the teva. He starts feeding the animals. He's entirely selfless work, right? And he gives to the animal. The one time he becomes a little bit late for the lion, and becomes a cripple. Really no gratitude for what he's been doing at all for what he's been doing. And this really, I think, is that midah of chesed, just the pure sense of giving. So that's what we see as the antidote to taking. And it becomes this balance of extremes. When the world is in a place of take, Hamas, Chatufin, all those kinds of things. The balance is to do chesed without request for reward. So Noach spends his time in the teva, and now at the end we see that it's starting to look like maybe I can go outside. Noach has to make a decision. When should he go outside? So this is where we're going to bring back not the Blue Jays. I don't have a description of them specifically, but their cousin, the raven, and the dove. And if you think about it, the two birds represent two different kinds of, really, like if you look at them from a nature perspective, the raven is one of the smartest birds in the animal kingdom. It was probably one of the smartest animals in the animal kingdom. Go on YouTube, check out these videos. They figure out puzzles. They can, like the kinds of things that we couldn't get into, they're figuring out ways, inventing tools. The dove, on the other hand, really ends up being much more of that tamim character. So it's simple, it's almost defenseless. It can't really, fight or figure out complex tasks and stuff like that. And what happens? Noach goes out, in a way, connecting with that side of him that is, problem solving and figuring out all those kinds of things. That's not what got him out of the teva. What got him out of the teva was connecting with the other side of himself, the pure side, the simple side, the side that wasn't going to be able to maybe fight and do all that problem solving, and trusting that now is the right time to go. So he's out of the teva. What does he do? Think about this. Another classic example of Noach's amazing patience. He builds a vineyard, right? So he makes this amazing vineyard. And he waits, and then he gets into this other situation with the two extremes. He has some yayin, and yayin, we know we all had some Simchas Torah, it has an amazing power to help bring us close to kedusha and spirituality in that way. Also has this amazing power to bring us in the wrong direction. So just another example where two bookends from the same thing, kind of trying to find your balance in all of this. So we'll try and bring it home with one maybe one last thing here. So the parsha ends off with the story of Bavel, and Bavel is when words go wrong. So we talked about teva as the salvation for all the Hamas that was going on, and then the deluge of the rain that needed to come and wipe it out. The Tower of Babel is something that, what happened? The people of the world started off with a unified vision. They weren't trying to take and steal from each other. They were working on something together. But what was the thing that they were trying to do? They were trying to get rid of God in the equation. They were trying to say, no, we don't trust. We don't have to. We're going to be the ones who can create everything for ourselves. And what did that lead to? It led to words becoming their undoing. So this bilbul of having different ways of thinking and whatever it is, they thought they were starting off with a common vision, but what ended up happening was a little bit out of their control and took them all on different paths. And I think if Rabbi Karoli actually gave me a little eitzah here before, that when the animals went into the teva, they went in as pairs. If I mess this up, you'll tell me. They went in as pairs, two by two, they went in. And I think that when they came out, it says that they came out as each one to their mishpacha, right? And I think that maybe this is a way to think about things. Is first we could look at this from maybe as an evolutionary factor that at a certain point they were, zugim, and then, there was through words, there was the creation of a family unit and some kind of a cohesion. but also just the fact that something in the teva changed these things from being just two sides, zachar and nekeva, that were copulating, to being something more and being some kind of a mishpacha. So hopefully, with all this and the bilbul or the Hamas that's going on in the world, we can find some guidance and go out into the world. So, shkoyach.